Welcome to Video Game Corner. I'm J-Tos, and today I'm going to be doing a review on a Famicom game that's been translated, and it's called Wanpaku Graffiti, otherwise known as Splatterhouse for the NES. Wanpaku Graffiti was released on the Famicom made by Namecot in July of 1989. It was the second game in the Splatterhouse series, but instead of being a game that follows continuity, it goes down the path of a parody. It still sticks to the same plot of the series where Rick has to save his girlfriend from a long list of fiends and ghouls. The 8-bit version of Splatterhouse was a fun little action platformer. Instead of beating up your enemies and finding weapons all over the place, you start off with a giant butcher knife that was buried with you in your coffin. Yeah, you start out buried in this game with the butcher knife. Jennifer is crying next to your grave and you decide to pop out. She is overjoyed, but it doesn't last long as a pumpkinhead zips her off to the mansion. One of the best things in this game is the humor. The first boss you fight is a typical Dracula character. He rises out of the ground on a stage, and while coming up he is flipping you the bird. After a thriller parody, you fight the creatures and then he goes back down throwing you the peace sign. This game doesn't take itself serious for 1 second. The first game in the series was an arcade game that was later ported to the TurboGrafx 16. Some of the graphics had to be cut out because of the system's capabilities. The second and third games were on the Sega Genesis. The series was made by Namco. There was also a remake made in 2010 for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. What I have here is a reproduction cart that I made, and it's made off of a TS-ROM board. Now, a TS-ROM would be a Mapper 4 for the NES Mapper system. Now, the Wanpaku Graffiti, or the Splatterhouse ROM, is very hard to work with because it took me months to find this, just looking and asking people, because it's one of those ROMs that up until recently, or actually a few years ago, it was a Japanese mapper. Now, you can't just take a Japanese mapper and throw it onto an NES cartridge. It has to be converted first. So this one was converted, and it was actually translated, then converted. Now, when they have two translations out. One translation is just for the text in the game, and the title screen is still in Japanese. And then you have one that's where the title screen and the text is translated. Now, the second one, where everything's translated, you can't make into a reproduction card. As far as I know, there might be a ROM out there that's been converted. I don't know. I looked high and low, and all I could find was this one, and it doesn't have the title screen translated, but the text and the little bit of text in the game is translated. Now, I don't know 100%, but this is from what I've been told by other people that do this kind of stuff that I do, that are into making reproductions, and this is what I was told. So, I don't know. It's definitely something to look up. If any of you guys, find out any more information, send me an email, a message, or or comment below. Gameplay-wise, the game is pretty smooth, very simple. One button attacks, one button jumps. It does seem that some of the hit detection is a little tricky. I had to get close to some enemies, and other enemies it didn't matter. But for the most part, it works. The graphics are good for an NES game, the characters are well defined, and I would have liked to have seen more gore, but that's just me, because I like gore. Also, the music is decent, but nothing special. One of the big things that is strange is that the game doesn't use a life system. You get 1 life, and then you get 4 continues after you die. The good thing is that this game isn't too difficult, even though it has its moments. As you go through the level, you will get candy and burgers to restore lost energy. Also, if you look up to the top left of the screen, there are some numbers. For every creature you kill in this game, the number on the left goes up. When you hit the goal on the right, your HP rises and you have more energy. So this game has one RPG element, which is pretty cool. My gripes on this game are pretty minor. I recommend playing it on an emulator or getting your hands on a reproduction card. Well, that's Splatterhouse for the NES. It's a lot of fun, it's a simple game, and it's a shame that it was never released in the States, because I think all of us little American kids would have loved to play this one. Anyway, if anybody needs a copy of this made, just let me know. I can make them for you. I'm pretty cheap. I don't try to make a lot of money doing this, just a little side thing anyway. So shoot me an email, and if you guys need one, or if you guys need help making one, which is what I prefer with my channel. I'm trying to help people learn how to make their own, as opposed to me doing it for you. You know, the whole teach a man how to fish thing. But anyway, shoot me a message if you guys need help making one, and I can even send you the label that I found. I found this label online. I don't know who did it, but it's a pretty cool label. If you like, you know, some of my labels I make myself. I'm not the best label maker, but I do my best. But sometimes I find really cool labels and I use. And anyway, so this is Video Game Corner. I'm J-Tos. Comment, subscribe, let me know how I'm doing, and I will see you guys next time.